Today we're going to talk about Qi and the Qigong. To the Westerners, Qi and Qigong is still very confusing for most of them. But eventually, for a lot of Chinese, it's still confused too. The reason for that was simple. If you think about Qigong in China has been existing for at least about 4,000 years, and then start from acupuncture. But it didn't get into the Western society only until 1970s. Because the reason the Qigong still put the big questions, what is Qi, what is the Qigong? But since 1973 until now is 2004, then there's a big advanced and big understanding of what Chinese talk about Qi and Qigong. Keep thinking, if Qi and Qigong is not scientific, how can it be existing for 4,000 years? It's used for Chinese healing. For example, acupuncture is a part of a Qigong, has been commonly adopted by the Western medical society now. So now today we're going to explain what is the Qi and Qigong from a scientific point of view. It's very important for you to accept this concept. Then in this case, the East and West will be able to exchange its culture. Remember, Qi and Qigong, this one has been existing in China for 4,000 years. It's developed from the accumulations of a lot of experience and the knowledge and study. In the West, only last 20 to 25 years, then this concept slowly influenced this society. We try to trace back the history in this country. We'll see what happened. You look at the Russian and the French. The Russian and French, actually, they have acupuncture theory, acupuncture study, acupuncture practice for more than 200 years. But in America, this history was very short. You think about only in 1973, when the President Nixon visited mainland China, at that time, the acupuncture started revealed to this country. So what happened in 1973? I wonder a lot of old generations, people still remember at that time. It's a big event because at that times it's the first time China opened the gate to the Westerns. When the Nixon was in China at that time, Chinese government demonstrated a heart operation in front of Nixon at that time. But I believe at that time Nixon was wondering why. Because the heart bypass operation was already popular, common in the United States. But why they want to demonstrate the heart operations? But after Nixon looked at that, looked at the operation demonstrations, he was so shocked. Why he was shocked? One big difference. The difference is in the Western society, when you operate the heart or any kind of a big surgery, the patient has to be in coma. But when Nixon looked at the operation in China, actually the patient was talking to the doctor. Why they are operating him? So this slide I'm going to show you is I got it from one acupuncture book. Okay. So now you see the slides. From these slides, you can easily see there's a heavy operations. This area, of course, is not hard because, as I mentioned, this comes from an acupuncture cover. This not hard? Hard around this area, but at least this is a big area, big operation because you have to cut it open. One big thing you can see, you notice, is the patient is awake. The patient can communicate with the doctor about how he feels, about everything. But question is, how is it possible to the Western society? Where is the pain? See, that's become a big question of this one. But if you notice inside, you can see a lot of acupuncture point and the acupuncture needles inserted into the patient's body. The question is so simple. How do we interpret pain? How do you feel the pain? It's because of the brain. But if you can stop the message from the heart pass to the brain, then this message won't be received by the brain for this area. Then the brain won't feel the pain. So in this case, you don't have problem. So we take a little look. We try to understand the Qi system. Okay, you look at, if this is the brain, on the top, okay, and this is the heart. How can brain feel the pain from the heart area? It's come from, you call nerves, because there's nerve connections. So from the nerves, the mind is able to communicate with the brain. But remember, nerves is electric fiber, is a material The brain is a fiber, and the heart is a material as well. But all this material, it need electricity or it need qi to maintain their surviving, to maintain their function. So in the Western society, amazingly, the Chinese medicine, the Western medicine developed in different ways. You should recognize one point. In the Western medicine, before all the development, is that what you see, what you believe. What you feel is considered non-scientific, non-logical. See, it's very common. You can go to see the Western doctors in the past, not today. You can see there's a pain in this area. The doctor can take a look and they take an x-ray, everything. But there's nothing wrong. He said, go home. It's in your mind. Eventually, you can feel pain for a few months. Finally, you feel so painful, you have to come to this doctor again. They say, please take a look again. Now, doctor take an x-ray. They see, okay, there's something wrong, physically damaging inside, for example, the liver had problem. Then now the doctor said, now you are sick. See, that's a Western concept, and Chinese concept is different. Because Chinese concept believe 3-4 months ago when you feel the pain, because the energy lose balance. When the energy lose balance, it triggers the nerves overreacting. So then this component we call the feeling. Because before we stop there for a while, we talk about feeling. This feeling in the Western society and Chinese concept is have the same feeling, but the different interpretations. Okay. So feeling to Chinese is communication, is a language. This feeling is a language of the mind and the body. So this is a very important language. So this is a feeling. When the feeling is normal, it's fine. But when the feeling is a pain or painful. So that means the body start complaining. The body complains to the mind, says something going wrong. That's what we can feel, the pain. That means you have to do something about it to solve the problem. It's very amazing in the Western society, when you feel the pain, then you take a painkiller. When you take a painkiller, actually you kill the communication of the mind and the body. But Chinese, when you feel the pain, what they do, they try to find the cause of the energy imbalance. In this case, once you set up the new balance of the qi, then it's fine. Then all the symptoms gone. Physical damage can be stopped, can be prevented. See? Now, when you look at this situation for this mind, how the brain mind can feel the pain of the heart is very simple. Because there's a qi system. This qi system is an energy system, has never been understood by the Westerners for many, many years. Slowly now, because of the development of the modern equipments, then now they can test it, they can measure it, now they can recognize it's existing. There are many books now existing, you can read about it. One of them is called Energy Medicine. All they discuss about Western concept, how they understand was the Eastern practice of the Qi and Qigong. Okay, now, in order to maintain the nerve function, you have to have a Qi system to supply the Qi to maintain its function of these nerves. So because of this reason, here there is a Qi system. So this Qi system you can see, this Qi system supplies nerves to maintain this function, as we said. Now, what happened? Chinese understand the Qi system in the body after so many thousand years of study. So Chinese say, well, if the brain controls entire body, but this is the only connection, how can I just switch this off? When I switch this off, that means the brain don't feel the pain from the heart. At the same time, the brain can maintain function for every other part. See? This has become a very important part of the practice of acupuncture called anesthesia. Because this reason, that's why the patient doesn't have to feel the pain for this. So that's why you can have operation. The best part of that is that once you recover, you can remove it and resume the qi circulation. And there's no too much a side effect as a Western anesthesia. Okay. So from here, I just only give you an example. And since then, we see that Chinese acupuncture has been studied. and try to understand in the Western society, especially in the medical science. It's slowly accepted, but now, generally Qigong concept has been studied by all the universities or medical societies today. So it's important for me to introduce what the Chinese Qi and Qigong with the right concept, because this one can also be abused by a big society, talk about how mysterious it is, or how wonderful power it is. Eventually, it's very scientific. Everything you have to find is a logical explanations, in scientific explanation as well. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what is Qi, what is Qigong, actually what it is. The first thing we try to define how Qi was defined. If you look at China in ancient time, you see the words of Qi is actually written this way. But these words are actually constructed by two words. In Chinese language, Chinese symbol, it's very easy. They put the two symbols together and become a new meanings. So, in order to interpret these words, because it's ancient words of Qi, if you go to find Chinese dictionary, you find these words, they say this one equivalent to this Qi. So this word is more commonly recognized today, but these are ancient words. So let's try to trace back what the ancient time, how we talk about Qi. So this is Qi, if you divide it, you can see it become these two words. But eventually, you take a look, this one is mean nothing. Chinese called Wu. This is fire. You'll be amazed to you, right? Why ancient time Chinese create the meaning say no fire? The Qi means no fire. How can it be? So from here, you have to understand the concept in the ancient time. Remember, the longest history of a Qigong is actually a Chinese medical Qigong. Because medical Qigong has been existing for 4,000 years. So the 4,000 years, of course, their main purpose is for healing, for sickness prevention. You should understand Chinese emphasize a lot of sickness prevention. This is more than the Western society. The Chinese always have a theory or philosophy. Before it happened, prevent it from happening. At the same time, the Western concept in the past is wait until it's happened, we find the cure of it. So this concept is just very different, because the reason that's why Chinese allow the Qigong exercise is for prevention. It's not for healing. But the Western exercise, a lot of time, Western healing is, the concept was different. But today, let's start changing this concept now. Okay. Now, from here, you try to understand Chinese concept. Chinese philosophy heavily influenced by the philosophy of yin and yang. In the body, you can divide it, the inside and the yang side. So if the yang side, it consider this a physical body. Inside, consider Qi body. This is physical. So this one you can see, this one you can only feel. Remember, this is a material or this is the inner side. Chinese believe every part of your body is alive. With alive, you requires a specific amount of Qi to supply its function. When this energy lose balance, then physical defect can be derived, can be generated. So because the reason is very important what kind of Qi levels to supply each individual organ, for example, or cell, even cell, has to be correct. If it's not correct, then cancer cell can be developed and the physical damage can be developed. Okay. If there's no difference, for example, I give you a very simple example. If this is electric fan, then this electric fan, you need electricity supplied to maintain the fan's function. Remember, fan is considered yang side. Electricity considered inside. If I give you an example, if this fan, if you give a fan 10 ampere of the electricity, then fan can turn and last for a long, long time. That may have a longevity. Now, if I use the fans, I use a 15 ampere. Now you can see the fan is going to turn faster and faster and faster. Doesn't mean this is too young. Because sufficient, too much. But of course, the fan will turn faster and faster and faster. What happened? It starts to overheat. Then you break down. So this one on fire. Then you say, okay, in this case, why don't I turn to the 5 ampere? Okay, you can turn to 5 ampere. What happened? The fan becomes sluggish. When it becomes sluggish now, again, electricity, you pour in, then you generate heat again. This is on fire. So it doesn't matter it's too much or too little. It generates the fire of the body. People always ask me why. Just give you another example. You know, if you drive 55 miles an hour, the gasoline consumption is the minimum. Doesn't mean you don't need so much of a gasoline. If you go under 55 miles an hour, actually the gasoline consumption going up when you drive. If you're going up over 55 miles an hour, again, the consumption of gasoline going up, the engine on fire. So that means you want to maintain engine, the best condition for the engine and last for a long time is 55 miles an hour. The same thing in the body, have the same kind of characteristic or same kind of a situation. So because the reason Chinese, the ancient time, they're looking for the way of a no fire because the 10 ampere is no fire. So it becomes very important part of the Chinese acupuncture concept. When you find out the qi is deficient, they bring back to the normal state. When they think about qi is too much, then bring it down. So in this case, there's no physical defect can be happening. So this is a very important concept in ancient time, you should understand. So this is a medical Qigong, go back to a long time ago. Then later, through the study, and Chinese start realize now, a lot of the qi situation, they really controlled by your emotion. When you're emotionally, you get disturbed, then the qi status or situation in the body, you change. For example, you're too happy, you're excited, the heart beat faster. It can cause heart attack. That means the heart channels energy going up. Not only that, your breathing becomes faster and faster. Again, the lung energy going up. You depressed, also you get anger. You are angry, then the liver energy get disturbed. So because the reason Chinese start realize entire body's energy functions or energy distribution and situations all depends on emotion. They becomes the second big schools of Qigong study is a scholar Qigong. You look at scholar Qigong, main thing comes from professional or scholarly Taoism and Confucianism. All they talk about is keep your mind peaceful and harmony. Once you keep your mind in the peaceful and harmony states, then the qi you maintain is peaceful and harmony situations. Once this mind disturbed, then everything disturbed. So when they meditate, they are searching for the peaceful mind. That's become a very important part of the scholar Qigong. Then it was not until the Chinese East Han Dynasty, was about 2,000 years ago, then the religious Qigong gets started. The religious Qigong actually imported from the India. You know, the Buddhism. When Buddhism entered China, and China started get heavily influenced by Buddhism. Okay, you should understand by this time. Let me try to explain very easily for this part. The first one, try to understand China's geographic structure in that area. So, if this is China, then you can see there's a Mongolia, there's a Manchuria, there's a Japan, there's a Korea, there's a Taiwan, there's a Afghanistan, Pakistan in this area. Remember, China is called 中国. 中国 that means central country. Why you mean China called central country? Chinese don't call ourselves central country. Because the Chinese have 7,000 years of history, 7,000 years of culture. But all the neighbor countries, look at them, look at their culture, about 2,000 to 3,000 years. There's a many thousand years of difference. Because this reason, at that time, in ancient time, all this culture, they come to China to learn, to study Chinese culture. That's why it's called Central Country. Because this name was given by the neighbor country. All right, then later, you will see this part is what? This Himalaya. This one place completely separate from China for a long, long time. Also have a 7,000 years of history. What's that? You can see it's India. Because that time it's not easy to cross that. Until 2,000 years ago in the Han Dynasty, through the Silk Road. You remember Silk Road? That's where the silk go to Rome, go to Italy. That's called Silk Road at that time. Then Chinese culture started getting to the west. The same time, through this path, then Indian culture entered China. That's the beginning of Buddhism. So, amazing, because Chinese, you look at Chinese history, slowly can take a look, analyze China. A lot of people don't understand Chinese. But if you don't understand Chinese, try to trace back. Of course, Chinese, a lot of battles, a lot of wars. But you look at China. China, all the time, Chinese history, it promotes the love and peace and harmony of the universe. You look at Chinese philosophy. What the Chinese people worship about is this a scholarship. But at the same time, China is so worried about what? About those races. The Mongolia, they're trying to invade China. Manchuria, and all these tribes there. At the same time, they want to learn from Chinese culture. The other way, they want to conquer it. But eventually, you look at Chinese history. Chinese have been conquered many times by the neighbor countries. China has been conquered by Mongolia. Remember, in Chinese history, in China itself, it never one time tried to conquer the world. Because all they love is peace and harmony. But when Mongolian conquered China, Mongolian tried to conquer all the Europe that everybody know at that time, about 800 years ago. That's why China, they built what? It built a wall. You understand? Called Great Wall. This Great Wall is around here, built over this area. The Great Wall is built is to defend, it's not to conquer people. You want to conquer people, you don't build a wall. So that's why all foreign countries, they try to invade China, they can stop by their wall. But eventually, they got through the wall. For example, Mongolian, they control China for about 300 years. The Manchurian as well. So after they conquer China, they bring it into Chinese society, become part of Chinese. You should look at Chinese history. But another thing I want to point out, because it's very important, you want to understand Chinese Qigong, you have to understand Chinese history. Without that, the historical background, it's very hard for you to understand how the Qigong developed. Right? If you go to a museum, I want you to compare. Because everywhere I travel, I went to museum. The first thing you try to realize one thing, you go to the European sections, you can see so much of a war. Almost every 20, 30 years, there's a war. The killing by the religions, all the things, all the arts you can see created by the belief and by the war. It's amazing. From there you can see, you study the Western society, you can see all this war. That's why today becomes so important. Their weapon developed so advanced. But you remember, gunpowder was invented in China 800 years ago. But China never tried to use the gunpowder to conquer the world. If China wanted to conquer the world, long time ago they conquered the world because of gunpowder. China used gunpowder for fireworks to celebrate the peace and harmony. But when the West, they got this gunpowder formula, they invented a gun and cannon, then try to conquer. That's because the historical background, try to search about it and study about it. But I couldn't deny, say, okay, in China also a lot of wars as well. But the wars usually happen within China. What happened? Because whenever there's an emperor changed, their dynasty changed. Because a lot of time you have tyrants of 7,000 years, you have a lot of tyrants. When that happened, then China tried to start a revolution. There's a big riot and big war. Million people killed. But I want you to come down, take a look. You go to the museum, you look at Chinese section. What you see? Next time you go to the museum, I want you to take a look. Analyze how much of the art it's not prohibited, in the museum. They talk about the war. You go to the Chinese section, all you see is a piece, is a nature. There's not too much you can find about the war. It's not that. If you look at Chinese history, there are 7,000 years of history. There are about 35 to 40 dynasties. That means the average, there are about 200 years peaceful time. Then there's another war, another 200 years peaceful time. The only time lasts for 200-300 years, a lot of the war is Chinese called warring period or spring-autumn periods. I'll go back to 2,300 years ago. That's the only time becomes so big at that time. So look at Chinese history, that's the time we talk so much about the war. Other than that, you look at its peace. Because at that time, it's all in China divided by so many parts, controlled by all the warlords that kill each other. That's what they call warring period at that time. So, because the reason you can see, when Indian Buddhism entered China, immediately because it matched with Chinese philosophy, I would call love and peace and harmony. Right away, Buddhism becomes so big because it comes from outside. Don't you have the idea? If everything from outside you appreciate, everything you develop by yourself, you downgrade it. That's a human mentality. Because everything you got it, then you don't appreciate it. Everything from outside, you say, wow, that's precious. The same thing in China. When the Indian Buddhists enter China, okay, this philosophy is better than Chinese. Is that true? If you come down and take a look, it's the same. But how come? Because it's come from outside. See, that's a human mentality. But anyway, so religious Qigong start enter China, influenced by Indians. The biggest influence is actually about 500 AD at the time by Bodhidharma. Because Bodhidharma is actually teaching the Qigong method and some of philosophy, how actually Buddhism or Buddhists train. The heavy influence Chinese martial arts society. The reason because that time, actually he passed away in the Shaolin Temple. When he passed away in the Shaolin Temple, actually before he died, he passed down all the muscle tendon change, bone marrow washing. Because that's a heavy influence Chinese concept of a physical body structure, or physical body chi structure, how they train that and understand that, and not only that, how do you lead the chi to the brain, to nourish your brain for enlightenment, to reopen the third eyes. That kind of concept before that time was not existing. So that's why Bodhidharma may consider one of the very important person in Chinese Qigong history. Yeah, even though I know some Chinese want to deny it because he is not Chinese. Yeah, but that's because dignity. So that means if you summarize it, you can see there are 4 categories of Chinese Qigong in history. Medical Qigong. So when you study any Qigong, first one, identify what kind of Qigong are you studying. Medical Qigong for healing. The second one is scholar Qigong for peaceful mind. The third one, religious Qigong, they want to open the third eye for spiritual enlightenment. The last one, martial Qigong. They apply the Qi into physical body to energize it to a higher energy state so they can manifest the power to higher efficiency. So become 4 categories. But today, which one is more popular, if you think about that? But I would say medical Qigong is most popular because acupuncture is second popular, actually martial art Qigong. Spiritual Qigong is hard to understand. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is the one I'm most interested. And then next one, the less popular is the scholar Qigong, because scholar Qigong are only searching for a peaceful mind through the meditation. Okay. Now, you understand the concept of Qi, that means no fire. Now, we try to see why now Qi become these words. If you look at these words, again, it's very easy for you to identify because this was constructed by 2 words. These words and these words. Okay, this one, Chinese, that means air. This one means rice. Later Chinese realized, they say, wow, the energy circuit in the body, main thing come from the air, actually oxygen and the rice. Without the oxygen, without rice, we don't have a qi. It's very simple. But now people say, how can we interpret from scientific terms? Even we know, logical, we know we need the air, we need the rice. That's why I believe it got to have a Western interpretation about this whole process. That's why I go back to look at the book. Then I find a formula. In the West, you talk about the same thing, remember. Chinese Qigong and the West, there's no difference. People always say they are different. No, there's no difference. One from scientific approach, the one from experience approach. Experience approach comes from thousands of years of accumulation of experience. The other ones come from scientific approach. That one you can approach in a couple hundred years because from scientific understanding. One is the theory, the other one is actions. But if these two really is the Tao of the nature, it should be able to what? Match each other perfectly. See, I believe that's my job because my background is a scientific background. I got my master's degree, bachelor degree in physics. I got mechanical engineering for my PhD. All my background is a scientific background. So because of the reason I try to use a scientific way to interpret Chinese ancient past, especially for Qigong. It's amazing to me for the last 20 years. It can match so perfectly. See? Now try to look and see how this happened. It's very easy for you to understand this one after I put this formula to you. Okay. This formula you can find from biophysics books or bioenergy book, a lot of biochemistry book. Glucose process 6 oxygen. After chemical reaction, it generates 6 waters and 6 carbon dioxide. At the same time, it's important, it releases 686 kilocalories. Now you can see now. Does it make sense to you now? From here, you take a look. When the 686 kilocalories, that's the energy contents. This energy content, they manifest it. When they manifest, they can manifest either heat or light, or the other one. Today, scientists already know what Chinese call qi is a bioelectricity. All right, so this is bioelectricity. From this bioelectricity, they can convert many ways when they manifest it. Okay, so this one is a qi. Now from here, what you see now? Air, oxygen, rice, glucose. This is a qi. So from here you can see what you eat. What you eat. The air you input is all the elements of producing the energy, the qi in the body. Okay, let's talk about oxygen first. You look at body structure. The body structure, 96% of body structure constructed by oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, and carbon. 96%. That means the oxygen exists everywhere. In every cell, you need it all the time. If you look at the body, which place consumes most of your oxygen? I'm not talking about in the structure-wise, I'm kind of consuming-wise. Of course, when you exercise, you consume oxygen. Every time you tense up your muscle, you burn it. But at the same time, which place of the body consumes most of the oxygen? Right away, I believe a lot of you already think about the brain. It is true, it's the brain. According to scientific report, this is not from Chinese, from scientific report, every brain cell consumes 12 times or more of oxygen. Depends. If your brain in the relaxed states, it can be lower. In the brains, in the excited state, this one can be higher. Oxygen consumption can be higher. It's not 2 times, it's not 3 times, it's 12 times. All right, now, people say, how can it be? I just want you to take a look logically. You look at the brain, the head, there are 2 arteries here on each side. Behind it, there's another 2 smaller arteries. There are 4 arteries go to your brain. Look how small my brain is, my head is. You look at my leg, this leg, how big the leg is. You look at anatomy book. There's 1 artery, the head actually there are 4 arteries. Why? Why there's 4 arteries go to the brain, but there only 1 artery go to the leg? Think about my leg is so big, my head is so small. That's because you need a lot of blood to bring the oxygen to the brain. The brain consumes so much of the qi, so much of nutrition, and so much of oxygen. So it's very important for you to understand that. So that means the breathing, how you breathe becomes a very important part because it affects your brain function. For example, in this room, if there's not enough oxygen, the first thing is your brain. You get trouble. If you dizziness, then eventually you pass out before any kind of physical pain generated. So it's very important for you to understand oxygen is required. But remember, this oxygen is talking about air. Chinese talk about air, it's called 空气. I write Chinese because some of the Westerners now start understanding Chinese. 空气, remember qi is the same as this qi. 空, that means space. Space qi, that means the energy of the space. Okay, now people say, okay, in this case, what's the meaning of a qi? Of course, this qi we talk about is the energy circuit in the body. But what's the original qi mean in Chinese terminology? Okay. 空气 is a space qi. 冷气, I just give you a few examples. 冷气 doesn't mean cold qi. That's air conditioning. The cold qi comes from air conditioning. Okay, 热气, this comes from heat. 死气, that means people's dead. The qi of the death. You can see the qi has been attached to something else. So when you look at this one, what the qi means, the qi means energy. Okay. Not only that, you talk about qi. 事. 事 is a situation. The situation of the qi. That means what? The condition of the feeling at that environment, at that time. For example, if there are 2 armies, they are fighting. One army, they have a high morale. Everybody have a high killing mood. That's what we call qi shi. That means their qi status is higher. See, the Chinese use the qi for everywhere. Because now, when you take a look, you can see this qi actually like a universal energy. That's why you understand Chinese Qigong. Chinese Qigong is not restricted only to human body. You talk about the astronomy. Yeah? Talk about medical science. Talk about everything. The nature. Any kind of energy related to humans or related to existing in this universe, Chinese called Qi. Yeah. Of course, this Qi also includes some of the energy cannot be interpreted yet by the science. For example, gravity. How science interpret gravity, they still unknown. They still don't know that yet. But Chinese also qi, because gravity is considered qi of the earth. Okay. So from here you can see, from this formula you can see, 空气 is air, and this internal energy circulation. But don't confuse this one and this one is not the same thing. This is electricity, this is air. But remember, they are related. These proportional to each other. So that's why a lot of times people say, oh, Qigong is talking about way of breathing. It is true. Some people say, no, Qigong is talking about the internal energy circulation. It is also true. Because eventually they're talking about the same thing with a different concept, but talk about same thing. You should understand this concept. So later when we talk about Qigong, it will be easier for you to understand this whole concept. Okay. So from here you can see, very easy for you to recognize what is really Qi. But now the scientists, the Western scientists, is to understand now. What people, Chinese people talk about Qi circulating in the body, actually is bioelectricity. Some people say, no, I don't want to call it bioelectricity. We call bioenergy. That's true too. Because bioelectricity, that's very specific. How about biomagnetism? Because it's also inside, it's also Qi. Because inside the body, it's not just electricity. You should know that. Because when there's a magnetic field, then there's an electric field. If there's an electric, there's a magnetic field. So you cannot put it specifically for that. So because the reason Chinese say, okay, bioenergy. But when you go bioenergy, again, you confuse with the heat, with the light. Because this is also bioenergy as well. So that means it's very, very hard to define what is really the Qi. If we talk about Qi is bioelectricity, then tell me, it is AC or DC. That's what become very complicated. It's not as easy as people think. But when I put the bioelectricity, because it's easier for me to interpret many, many phenomena. It's not because I prefer bioelectricity. Because you look at a lot of books existing today, you realize body electric conductivity continuous change. For example, muscles. Muscle electric conductivity, when I'm relaxed, electric conductivity is higher. When I tense up, electric conductivity becomes lower. They become more resistant. Not only that, the fascia, the ligaments, the tendons, all those things, they change from one property to the next property, depends your thinking, depends your body's condition. So because the reason the entire body is alive, you have to recognize that. It's not like dead in the electric circuit, it's dead, you can interpret that. You can't. It's AC or DC. If I move my arm forward, the electricity goes that way. When I move my arm backward, electricity goes this way. Now, all the AC, DC depends on my mind thinking. So because the reason, a lot of people try to argue with me, I say, you can't. Question, we still don't know. Yeah. So all this kind of measurement will take humans a lot of time in the future to measure it. But I'm very happy to see so far already been existing, a lot of measurement existing, and a lot of data. So those people, if you are interested to read, I highly recommend a couple books here first. Try to read about it. This one is the first one I highly recommend to read about it, because inside I talk about how the electricity circulates in the body, what is the body electric properties. The second book I highly recommend is called Energy Medicine. You'll be surprised when you look at that, they connect with Chinese Qigong or Chinese Qi. Inside, they all have a scientific interpretation. But remember, this by the Western scholars. So when we mention about this formula, glucose plus 6 oxygen and becomes 6 water and 6 carbon dioxide. At the same time, you can see this one produces heat, light, bioelectricity, and many others. It's not just like this. Many others so far cannot be interpreted yet by the scientists. All right, so from here, the last point before we go to what is Qigong, I want to point out one more thing. It's very important for a lot of people, they start Qigong and they get confused easily. The first thing try to understand, when the Western society, you define upper body, lower body, where you define. Without thinking, you say, okay, it's from the waist area. Because waist area, there's where the center of gravity is. So from this area, you bend, you bow. So you say, okay, this is lower body, this is upper body. That's from physical point of view. But you should understand, Chinese, they don't use here. Chinese talk about upper body, lower body. Actually, it's not from here, from the diaphragm. So from here, you can try to see, understand this concept. Because Chinese call this part called 上层气. So called upper level Qi. Okay, remember I'm also studying, I'm also researching all the time. And I try to understand more and more. So every year I got new information and find a new way to interpret the ancient practice. This one, Chinese ancient I call 上层 qi, called upper level qi. The energy circle inside the body, they call lower level qi, called 下层 qi. How they define? So all these defined come from, okay, this is my Picasso drawing. That's means you have to put the imagination. This is the body, so you can see here is a diaphragm. Chinese define the upper body, lower body by diaphragm. When we go to the lesson 2, you're going to see more about this concept from the Chinese energy point of view, about to interpret what's the 12 channels about energy network in the body. But now, first thing I want to interpret this one because it's so important for you to understand. Remember the body, inside the body, the structure. Body have a fascia, body have a muscles, body have a bones, ligaments, tendons. Every one of them have a different specific amount of chi levels. And also conductivities. All right, diaphragm, you know diaphragm is over here. Diaphragm is where you're pulling down the oxygen come in. When the diaphragm relax, the carbon dioxide going out. But diaphragm, because diaphragm all the time you're breathing, so that means diaphragm all the time exercising. When diaphragm exercising all the time, that means electric conductivity is very high. All right, so this is a good conductor. If it is a good conductor, you will cut it open from the picture, from the anatomy structure. Okay, let me show you a slide. So when you look at the anatomy structure, you can see this is a diaphragm. On the top is supposed to be the lung, is the heart. Okay, from here you can see, on the top you can see it's covered by fascia. All right, take a look clearly. So from here you can see this diaphragm separate the body to the top and the bottom. We talk about central body. So from here you can see, actually on the top here, it's covered by fascia. On the bottom, covered by fascia. Diaphragm. So fascia, according to what we know from bioelectricity, the book, this is a poor conductor. Diaphragm is good conductor. All right, the first one you have to recognize one thing. Fascia play a very important role in the body structure because this is a poor conductor. If you don't know what is a fascia, very easy. Go to find a piece of chicken, take the skin off. Between the skin and the meat, you can see there's a thin membrane. It's called fascia. This fascia amazingly change properties, electric properties. But generally speaking, usually is a conductivity is poor. All right, you look at the arms, right? My arms. My arms have a different set of muscles, different. When I extend my arm forward and pull my arm backwards, move to this side, it's different muscles. Because different muscle contraction allow me to go here, allow me to go here, go different directions. So that's mean the arms, it constructed many set of muscles. But remember, all the muscles have a different what? Function. For example, this one is stronger, this one is not as strong, this is stronger. So that means a different power manifestations. So that means different muscles have a different energy level, energy chi levels. But how do you maintain them? If they contact each other, you can't. Because the reason that's why they need insulator between them. To isolate them from parts, from different parts, so they have a different function. So fascia, it be acting like insulator in the body. You should understand this concept. So between the organs of fascia is everywhere. But fascia is poor conductor, so whenever there's a poor conductor, that means conductivity is poorer, that means circulation is poorer, stagnant. But the result of that is a deposit the fat. So whenever you can see the fascia area, usually the fat accumulated. Okay. Now from here you can see what you see now. It's a good conductor. Have been sandwiched by poor conductor. That means the energy can be stored in the diaphragm. So this place is isolate. Remember, diaphragm isolate body from top and body from energy point of view. Okay, on the top you can see the heart, the lung, and pericardium. On the bottom you have liver and kidney or other other things. Chinese talk about this air from, okay, this is the head. The air come from here, go to the lung. This is called upper level qi. Remember, the air cannot go underneath the diaphragm. The only way to get through underneath the diaphragm is through the bloodstream. The blood is taking the oxygen and they distribute to the body. If this oxygen go to the stomach area, you already feel sick. I remember when you have a baby, your baby feed the baby for milk. What's the function? What's the action you have to do after feeding? You can birth the baby until baby, then you say, okay, it's okay. Because the air, you have to get rid of it. Otherwise, the baby's going to cry. Okay. Now, you know, this air coming out, this air going down. The body inside the air cannot stay there too much. Cause problem. So this air, remember, this is oxygen. Doesn't go down. Only through the bloodstream. All right. So when this bloodstream through these biochemical reactions, because this oxygen comes from bloodstream. Because you absorb it to the bloodstream and talk it down here, and with the glucose cause biochemical reactions. Now you produce energy. That's body's metabolism. Okay, from here you can see this place Chinese call middle dantian. Because it traps the energy. You store the energy. You accumulate energy. Chinese say this middle dantian related to the post-birth essence. What means the post-birth essence? That means after your birth. Because after your birth, you start taking the food from the mouth, getting the oxygen from the nose. That's eventually glucose and oxygen. That's called post-birth essence. So whenever you inhale the air, the poor quality air, you can feel heartburn. Whenever you eat the spicy food, you can feel heartburn. So whenever this one, that means the middle dantian on fire. Whenever middle dantian on fire, the heartbeat going faster, the breathing go faster. So the middle dantian on fire is bad for the heart. It's very important for you to understand this concept. This is middle dantian. So Chinese realize this area is where the energy accumulated. Some people say, oh, middle dantian is not, this one is heart. Well, they talk about the same thing. Remember, when the energy accumulates here, the heart beat faster. But the other saying say, oh, middle dantian is a sanzong. Sanzong is this area. But look at this area. What this area? This area is a thymus gland, remember. A few years ago, scientists confirmed the thymus gland, the hormone production here, related to what we call emotion. When you get depressed, when you get upset, this place feels tightened. Then the hormone production becomes abnormal. But that's why no wonder a lot of people they think about here, because this Chinese called middle dantian related to emotional mind. So eventually, when this one energy accumulated, affect your heart function, affect your thymus gland. So that's why a lot of people they say it's here and it's heart. No, because they don't accumulate energy. They manifest the energy accumulated from the diaphragm. So from my analysis, I realized the middle dantian is more accurate talk about diaphragm instead of the other two places. They are related. Okay. So from here, the divided body is called upper level qi. But when this qi going down to the bottom, it becomes lower level qi. So this qi is bioelectricity. This qi is the air. So don't get confused. Actually, they talk about the same thing because these two proportional to each other. Okay. So far, that's all you need to understand. You want to understand more, we're going to talk about that in the second lessons, about the body's qi network. All right. Once you understand what is a qi, then now let's try to see what is a Qigong then. Okay, because this is the first lesson. The first most important thing is for you to understand the concept, what's the qi and the Qigong. The first one, try to understand what does the gong mean. The gong divided by two words. That's a force. This work. So this force a lot of times interpreted as effort. You put a lot of effort to work to make something happen. So this one, gong, that means the way you study, the way you research, the way you practice. So because the reason Qigong is very scientific, a lot of people say Qigong is mystery. No. From the terminology itself, it means the study or research of the Qi. That's called Qigong. Yeah. But today people say, oh, Qigong is something mysterious. No, it is not. It's because some people make it happen like mysterious things. Yeah, because a lot of people like to be fooled, a lot of people like to fool. So keep your mind clear, because today people are educated. Everything, can you make logical sense? And then what is Qigong? Let's try to see what is Qigong. Some people say, oh, jogging is not a Qigong. Aerobic exercise is not Qigong. Running is not Qigong. How can that be? So let's try to see what is Qigong. What is the scope? We talk about Qigong. All right, let's try to see this side is physical side. This side is mind. In related, we'll talk about internal, talk about Qi. You look at this one, actually it derived from this symbol. Then you can easily see this is yang, this part, this in, and this part. This area is a little bit in, is on this side, because on the yang side. This is a little bit yang, this on this side. Because when I draw like that, it's easier to interpret it. So, when you look at this one, you can see, the more you towards this side, the more you physical exercise. It's more yang side, because this is yang. And this is in. That means more toward this side, that means more mind get involved, but less physical get involved. Okay, now from here you can easily see where's the jogging, where's the lift the weight. Huawei say, okay, lift the weight is over this side. It is also Qigong. But you look at this side, Huawei can see a little bit of physical exercise, a lot of minds. It's also Qigong. What you can think of that one. The body is in very little movements. What's the position? Sit there. The only exercise is abdominal exercise. It's meditation. See? All these are all considered Qigong. It doesn't matter what. As long as you can improve the Qi circulation, it's called Qigong. This side is easier, this side is harder. The more you deal with your mind, the harder it becomes. It's easier you deal with the physical body without thinking. For example, most powerful Qigong on this side, people say, oh, this side is more effective. That's not necessarily true. But one thing I can tell you, this side is more physical strength to maintain, because remember, your body includes two bodies, physical body and Qi body. Qi body related to the mind. This side is more for physical body, that's mean for more physical health, physical strength. This one for peaceful mind. When you have peaceful mind, the physical body is more relaxed. Then that means Qi can circulate strongly. It's very easy for you to understand. So because this one is better for physical life, but this part is better for what? For spiritual life. I don't know how many of you know that. The body is constructed by two parts according to Chinese definition. A lot of people say, okay, my body, is this the body? Chinese define the body, no. This only physical body. There's another called spiritual body. So when you're alive, the physical body, spiritual body is united together. Once you separate, then physical body, it passes away because this is a recycling material. Then the physical body go to recycle, then spiritual body continue to find the new residence. That's what we call reincarnation. Because a lot of people, I don't know, a lot of people, they can still recall back the previous life. How can it be? How can science interpret it? I don't know. But you cannot say because the scientists cannot interpret, that means we deny its existing. After all, what's today's science? How much we developed the science? Only last 200 years? If you ever just thought about computers, 30 years old computer and 30 years today's computer, what's the big difference? If you ever think about another 500 years of scientific development, when they look at the science today, they will laugh about it. It's the same thing we laugh about computers 30 years ago. So in this case, how can we interpret all this Tao, the nature, by the limited understanding of the science we have so far? So because the reason I don't say should not believe that, but around the same time, I say don't believe it blindly. Put a question mark there. Keep your mind in the neutral. In this case, you can maintain your mind open, that you can accept. And you can also deny whenever you need to. Okay? It's very important for you to understand this concept. This one is for spiritual body. For spiritual cultivation, this one talk about the still meditation, the focus in the qi, how strong it is. They want to lead the qi to the brain, to activate the brain cell, and then you reach enlightenment. This part is deep, it's profound. In the future, we can talk about this spiritual enlightenment, the lessons. But so far, this is easier. But these are easier. What is the easiest Qigong we talk about? All right, I want you to trace back. Go back to million years ago. What's the human activities? You think about our body. Our body is evolved according to our activity, according to our thinking. Does the body continue evolved? Remember, the birds origin from dinosaurs. The human, the same thing. How we become body structure today like this, that's because evolving from our thinking, from our function, from our activities. Okay, now I want you to think, what's the most common activity everybody did in the past? Right away you say, walking. Yeah, that's it, walking. When you wake up, you walk. So because when you walk, that means all the body structure already match, already correspond to the activity we call walking. That's how body evolved. See? So that's why we can interpret in the lesson 2 about the body's qi network. Do you understand how body structure? But you can see today how big the leg is, because the leg carry the body's weight. We walk all the time. Don't you see we look strange? Our arm is so small, the leg is so big, we look ugly. Yeah. That's because it's not even. That's because we stand up, we learn to stand up. You still walk by 4 legs. Okay, if that's the truth, again, think about it. So because the reason walking becomes very important, that means swing your arm, move your leg. It's most important things. But today, what's happened for today's society? I want to point this out because this is lesson 1. I want to point out. Today, what's the biggest problem is our lifestyle change. Because we talk about Qigong. Why we practice Qigong? Our lifestyle change. Last 50, 60 years, what's the biggest change in your lifestyle? Everything's machinery. Now we don't walk. The first time we don't walk. Every time in the car, out the car, in the car, out the car. What's the second thing? We talk about lower body first. The roads flat. Go back to 100 years ago. What's the road? The road is not flat because there's no paved road. So what you do, you have a different angle. So these 3 joints have to learn to line up, these 3 joints. You have to learn to line up, and all the ligaments, all the tendons around the joints, they develop. The conditions. But today, you only one angle. I don't know how to line up. Today, one big problem people have is joint problem. Knee problem, hip problem. That's what we call new lifestyle. That's because we don't walk. Now, you don't walk, the qi trap here. But women qi here is not as strong as men. Men here the growing area qi is so strong because that's why you produce a sperm. When you produce a sperm, that's why you have a spring. You have offspring, you have a baby. So here, men's energy is strong. Now you don't walk as much in the trap here. What the consequence of that? What's the most popular cancer for men? Prostate cancer. Because simply with lack of exercise, when you exercise, the qi release from here. Okay. The woman, the same thing now. Why do women have a breast cancer today? That's because we don't move the arm as much as used to be. You don't move the arm, the inner trap here. Remember, a woman here is bigger than man. Why here is bigger? because qi more trapped here. This qi produces milk, so baby can suck milk out. So there's an exchange, a lot of the energy exchange between the nipple of a baby's mouth and you, because baby keeps sucking, they take energy in as well. But now women, they don't feed the baby, they carry fewer baby. Now they don't swing your arms, boom, you get breast cancer. So once you understand this simple consequence, it's very simple. Resume your activity, move your arm, move your leg. See, that's the first thing. That's why you have to understand Qigong. If you understand Qigong, you can analyze what we have done to our body. Because remember, this body still remains the same body as 200-300 years ago. It doesn't mean we have a new lifestyle, that means our body will fit in. No, it cannot fit in. That's one thing. Have you ever thought about? Second thing, do we move the spine often today? We don't. Remember, the spine, we have different sections. We have so many vertebrae there. Why all these vertebrae allow you to move? That's because we've been moving all the time. If we don't move it, it's going to fuse together in the future. Then become like robots. But because the reason this body is still the same as 200 years ago, at that time the women had to wash laundry, the men had to work in the field, we move the spine all the time. But now, everything push a button, we don't move the spine. Now, what's the second big problem people have? The spine problem and the lower back problem. The discs dry out. See? I'm just pointing out a few examples for you to understand, so you can see how important for the Qigong for today's society. Vertebra, between the vertebra is a disc. The disc is a cushion. Cushion like a sponge. How do you get the nutrition, the water in and get it out? If you have a sponge, how do you get the water in and get out? By what? By squeezing it, relaxing it, squeezing, relax it. That's our whole body. The human body evolved through this way. That's why in the ancient time we had to work, we had to move the spine. That's why all these things can get the nutrition and get the water in and out. Today, the biggest problem is this dry out. Not only that, the joint fluid dry out. When the fluid dry out, because this fluid come to the joint, come from the joint movements. When you move, the fluid come in. That's why maintain this healthy condition. You don't move, it dry out. As simple as that. So now we have a low back problem. We have spine problem. That's today's problem. What's the biggest problem today we have? This one is very important. I call invisible killer. This invisible killer, it kills everyone slowly. We cannot deny today's medical science extend our life, but the other way cannot deny either. Today there are so many different energy pass through our body and cause the cancers. Just keep your mind calm and think about it. You go back to 70 years ago, before Second World War. All the energy passed through our body is energy we already familiar with. We already get used to it for million years. All the natural energy. When the radio wave started introduced it during the Second World War, or slightly before that, then after that we have microwave, we have any kind of wave, name it. It passes through our body all the time. Remember, body inside is an electromagnetic field. All this energy penetrates, influences us every second. See? So because this reason, it's more important today for everyone to understand what is the Qigong. The only way to regain the balance of this imbalance caused by the environment is through the right thinking, through the right exercise. You have to continue to babysit this body. Only then it can prevent a lot of sickness from happening. That's the Chinese concept of prevention. Okay, now from here you can see this is a physical. That's what we talk about walking. Walking is so important. This side is talking about peaceful mind. Again, today we be so confused about peaceful mind, about our mind. Remember, the lifestyle before was so simple. 90% of farmers, we are not educated. You are not educated, your mind becomes simple. Once you are educated, your mind becomes complicated. You think too much. Now you have a big desire, big ego. See? What's the Tao Te Ching say? Lord, you educate people become sneaky. That's cause problem for whole society. Of course, it doesn't mean you should not educate. The question, do you are educated, can you control that? Or you abuse your education? Can you control your emotional mind? Emotional mind distracted from your feeling of the nature. It's very important. We have been separated from the nature gradually until now. It's so far apart now. So this one, can you sometime find your mind, peaceful mind, or reconnect to the nature? This has become a very important part. I just published a book called Embryonic Breathing, Qigong Meditation. That book is so important for those people who wants to know about meditation. Embryonic breathing is not dangerous, but it's very important to recognize the body inner structure and learn how to control it. If you learn how to control it, you can manipulate your body's energy and manifest the right way. Then in this case, you can correct your body's imbalance easily. Okay, it's amazing. Embryonic breathing has been hidden in the monastery for a long time. It was not revealed to the society only last 30 years. I've been so excited and to translate them, interpret them, and from my scientific point of view, try to interpret it, to explain it. Yeah. Those people interested in this book, please get it. All right. That's the first concept you have to understand is Qigong actually involves many things. Now, let's try to see how much they involved. Okay, it's an important concept now for you to understand. If a Qi, because that's the reason I said I choose bioelectricity, because bioelectricity inside the body can be interpreted much easier by my understanding so far. Okay, just try to think now. If a Qi is bioelectricity, I'm sure it's part of it. Probably it's not the whole things, but again, it's a big chunk of it. It's the Qi is bioelectricity. Let's try to think about it. Okay, remember, the reason I use the electricity, because the nerves. Entire body is constructed, connected by the nerve system. The nerve's electric fiber. It's not that entire body have different electric properties. That's the reason I like to interpret the whole thing by electricity. The magnetic field can be produced because the electric circulation in the body. Okay, so if a Qi is bioelectricity, then I want you to think, if you study physics, in order for the electricity to circulate from one place to another place, what you need? Right away, the first people think, oh, I need a wire. Okay, now you got a wire. You all have a wire, Chinese called channels. Because the body have a different electric properties. Some area, they have a higher electric conductivity, so allow the Qi to circulate. Not only that, you have a wire. What else you need? Most important is what? Potential difference. Electric potential difference is the same as water, right? If this water both at the same height, the water does not flow. But watch it, if this side is low, the water flow. This kind of potential difference in electricity called electromotive force, what they call electric potential difference. So, amazing, huh? The whole concept of Qigong is I want to improve Qi circulation. If I want to improve the Qi circulation, remember, keyword is circulation. You want to circulate the Qi or electricity from one place to another place, what do I need? If I can find potential difference, I got it. So the whole thing we talk about delta V, potential difference, electric potential difference, what called EMF, electromotive force. Okay, now, if you think clearly, think about what kind of activity can make your body produce potential difference. That's a Chinese Qigong they're researching for 4,000 years. Of course, in ancient time, they just through the experience, they cannot interpret the same way I'm interpreting. And when you think, the first thing, very easily, people say, oh yeah, exercise. Okay, exercise. That's true. Potential difference, in order to increase this one called Chinese called charging, called 充气, or called nourishment. 补, this one called 补. That's for Chinese. Those people understand Chinese. To generate potential difference. After that, this one called 泄, called releasing. One is the charging, the other one releasing. Whenever you produce this one, the qi circulate because it create potential difference. One way to do the exercise. Oh, it's true. See, when I exercise, I move my arm, for example. When I move my arms, the blood will pump. Remember, every blood cell is what? Is a small battery. You study body electric inside, they tell you. Every blood cell is like a small battery. It's a dipole. They be positive, negative, they can charge. So because the reason Chinese say qi and blood cannot be separated, because blood is a carrier of the qi. See? So that's something, every time I pump, I bring the blood here, I bring the qi here. So when I bring the qi here, I build potential difference. So once I relax, the qi go inwards. You got it, right? So that's our exercise, yes. Is this a number one? Probably this number one because most people doing that. But this is not the most important one. What's the second most important one is this. The power of the mind. In the future, when you read the body electric, you find out the mind is so powerful. Okay? In the following lesson, we can talk about this because it's so important, this mind. I want you to recognize one thing. In 1996, January 23rd, the scientists announced they discovered human body have two brains at that time. But remember, that's already almost 10 years ago, 8 years ago announced it. So far, the scientists already confirmed the spinal cord has a memory. Not only that, the entire body, every cell has its own memory. Every cell has individual life. Every cell includes all the DNA information. It's a blueprint of your entire body. I can take one of your cells, I can clone another you. You know how small the cell is? You think about that. From the Western understanding, every 24 hours, 1 trillion cells die in the body. 1 trillion. That's how small it is. Remember, in this body, there are so many lives. Depends on you. Every cell has its own individual life. You know the skin cell is 28 days. Then it dies. There's some part of the body actually live only 2 hours, 3 hours. They're here to replace. Some live longer than that. So different part of the body have different lifetimes. Okay. Now, scientists discover we have two brains. It's very important for anyone to understand this concept in order for you to understand the embryonic breathing. We'll talk about internal elixir. Later we're going to explain what's the internal elixir and external elixir. Important thing, this brain, they call upper brain. This one they call second brain. This brain, two brains connected by spinal cord. This brain think. This brain have a memory. That means this brain store the data. This brain store the charge. Now, there's a Western discovery in 1996. And when you look at 2,000 years ago, Chinese talk about this. Chinese talk about this called lower dantian. Dantian, that means where the energy can be produced. Dan, that means elixir. Elixir, that means qi. Tian, it means field. Chinese already talk about this place can produce the qi and store the qi. Today, they call about second brain. This one, first brain. This one, think. This one Chinese call upper dantian. Chinese say upper dantian related to your spiritual life, lower dantian related to your physical life. Because this one provides you the qi. This one, it controls the qi manifestation. This one direct the qi because it's thinking. That means what? That means this one give you delta V. This one supply you what? The I. The current. Amazing. Chinese also define this one. The spinal cord Chinese called thrusting vessel. Chongmai. What's the thrusting mean to you? That means go through so quick. Remember the name thrusting vessel was given 2,000 years ago. That means Chinese at that time already know these two dantian or two brains connect by spinal cord. But spinal cord, remember, is highly electric conductive tissue. There's no resistance. That's a Western society, amazing. They say these are two brains. In function, it's one. Physically, they are two because they synchronize each other because there's no resistance. So there are two, no, it's one. But it's one, no, there are two. You understand the concept? So Chinese already talk about these two, one yin, one yang, because yin and yang cannot be separated. It's like a two polarity of a magnet, cannot separate it. They correspond to each other. So there are two, no, they are one. That's a yin-yang concept. Yin and yang cannot be existing alone. Like you drive, right? A lot of people don't understand this concept. When you drive, this is a steering wheel, there's a road. Where's your mind? Your mind here or your mind there? There are two spots, but actually it's one because here is there is here. That's the yin-yang concept. So you cannot separate them because we can talk about this one more about this yin-yang concept later. Okay, so from here you can see this one give you delta V, this one give you I. Now, this mind is so powerful now. You know Ohm's law? Yeah, in the future we will talk more about this because now it's becoming only lesson 1. I just give you very brief introductions. Ohm's law delta V equals to IR. R is resistance. I is current, delta V is this. Whole idea, I want to increase delta I, the current. That means delta V had to be increased. As simple as that, right? Okay, how can I increase delta V? That's become a key point in ancient time now. Because when this delta V increase, that means my energy circulates strongly. See? You can talk to some doctors, they can tell you it's very amazing. 2 persons, exactly same case, they're dying. Both of them doctors say, oh, I give up, both of them give up. Amazing, 3 months later, this one survived, this dead. What's the difference? You talk to them because this one, the mind of surviving is so strong. I want to live, I don't give up. If you don't give up, now you survive. It's mind, the power of the mind. Remember only a few months ago, Japanese medical science, they announced it. They announced what? It's amazing, the conclusion. Through thinking alone, you can lose your weight. Through thinking, you can build up your muscle. Through thinking, you can get sick. Through thinking, you can heal yourself. Question, if you go to the church, as long as you believe the power of the God, through the praying, you can heal yourself. But you don't believe, it won't work. Because psychologically, prayer has an important role of the whole thing. The same thing for the Qi healers. As long as you believe the power of the Qi healer, actually 50% of healing comes from yourself. You don't believe it, you're going to reject it. So, it's the power of the mind. This mind is so important because mind controls entire body's function. So, because the reason you have to understand, this is the most powerful one. But this one, how do I increase delta V become the key now? People say, concentration. Okay, how do I improve concentration? How? It's very important, huh? How do I increase? What is the concentration? That means come in, very important part. A lot of you probably already guessed, is meditation. Aha, this one come in now, meditation. All right, now, from here, I want you think a little bit further for this part. In the future, maybe we'll talk again, but it's very important for you to think now. The brain. The brain constructed by two hemispheres. There's a front side of the brain, this is your third eyes. The sideway, you look at the brain, is like this structure. Okay, this is where pituitary gland, pineal glands. Okay, we have a picture in the slide. Let you take a look at the brain. From this slide, you're going to see the structure of the brain, but you see only half of them. Because between this is half, the other half on this side. So when you look at here, there's in the center, this is a center area. Okay, so from here, this you can see this is a spinal cord. Actually, this you can see the pineal gland, pituitary gland here. Pineal gland, pituitary gland on this area. This is the front side. So from the brain structure, you can easily see this is the third eyes, and this is the front. Remember, in 1960s, the scientists discovered an important things. The important thing is the brain and the brain communicate with each other. Because at that time they discover, for example, a lot of twins. The twins, amazing, you can separate them far apart. You can punch one person, the other person say, ouch. That means the brain communicate. They discover this kind of phenomenon also existing between mother and children often. Because this reason they start understand, they start researching about the brain, they realize the brain have a brain wave. It's amazing is that these two hemispheres in the center actually is empty. When it's empty, the energy is trapped there. When the energy is trapped here, it becomes generally like an energy chamber. So this energy chamber produces resonance. So that means every brain can be acting like a radio station. Another brain, as long as you tune into the right frequency, you can receive the information. Actually, animals have that capability. Humans have that capability. It's a way of telepathy, communicate with each other. The question, how do we tune to each other? We lack of this practice for a long time already, but eventually this exists. So this is the reason in 1960 they generated a machine called EEG. That's a long words I cannot remember because my Chinglish is so bad. So in this machine, you start realize, remember this place Chinese called spiritual valley. If you look at Tao Te Ching, chapter 16, they talk about spiritual valley because they talk about spirit reside in this area. Remember, Tao Te Ching was written 2,400 years ago. It's already so much ahead of the Western science to understand. Then not only that, they recognize the spirit reside in this valley. And this one correspond, this one echo with the nature. That's why a lot of the animals still can feel the nature energy change, but human cannot already. Because it comes from this one. This is very important if you understand embryonic breathing. From these machines, they test the body's function, the brain's thinking. Okay, I just give you very rough. You can see it in the book, or you can even check it in the EEG, the testing result. There's alpha wave, beta, theta, and delta. Amazing. When you are awake, the situation you are now, you can see this inside there's 18 peak. That means frequency is 18. Pass your brain. That means you are wide awake now. It's amazing. That means a lot of distortions. This one called amplitude. The intensity of the wave proportional to amplitude square. You learn physics, you understand that. That means this amplitude is not that big. Okay, now when you go to alpha, that means it become relaxed. When you start relax, you will realize the same 1 second. This one go to 9 to 12. Nine to 12, that means you can see frequency going down. You can see amplitude increased. That means once you relax, you can concentrate better. That means your thinking is more powerful. I don't know if you have that experience. The more you get nervous, the worse your concentration is. That's why you have to relax. Once you get relaxed, the third stage, theta. When you go to theta, amazing. This one, go to 5 to 7. On 5 to 7, you can see amplitude even increase. This one called drowsy state. That means semi-sleeping state. I don't know if you have that feeling. Sometimes before you get sleep, or die right after you wake up, look at you sleeping, you are not sleeping, but you are not sleeping, but you are sleeping. Your conscious mind is still there, but at the same time, you are in sleeping. That's the state. It's powerful. It's 5 to 7. That's when you can see concentration is much, much higher than all the other two. At the same time, amplitude even increase much higher. Now, a lot of you will wonder, what is delta? Delta, this one you can see, is 1 to 2. This one is sleeping state. Okay, that one, when you are in sleeping state, unfortunately, your mind is not there to direct, to control. That means the general is not there to control the body's function. But in the meditation, which one you want? You want beta? Of course not. So you have to relax first. That's become a very important part of a meditation. How do you lead your body's energy or body situation from this state to this state? After that, go to this state. That's why you have to relax first. That's why in Chinese talk about how do you lead this one to this state? Because you have to conquer, or you have to control your emotional mind. Emotional mind like a monkey. How you tame the monkey? You need banana. Yeah. What's a banana? Chinese talk about breathing. So breathing is banana. So that means in the nighttime you cannot sleep because that's out of the way you measure for the sleeping state. So in order for you to sleep, a lot of people just mind get disturbed. As long as you concentrate with the deep breathing, by no time you fall asleep. Okay, so the breathing is banana. So from here lead you to the state. This is the state you want. It's the theta. That's why in the embryonic breathing, all the meditation they ask you to reach the state called semi-sleeping state. That's why in the Tao Te Ching say you are there, you are not there. You are not there, but you are there. In that kind of state, your subconscious mind awakening. Your conscious mind sees down activities. That's the time you can sense of the energy. This is the same state as the hypnosis. You know, from the scientists today, they prove that when people have been hypnotized, they can sense, they can understand a lot of things. When they are awake, they cannot understand. Because the mind is the highly concentrated states. But again, they want control by outside, not by themselves. But for meditation, no, you control yourself. Okay? Can you reach that state? That's a very important concept. So because of the reason you can see the mind is so powerful, can you develop this mind? Again, how much we understand the mind? Remember, year 2000, we decode the human genetic code. It's 100% decoded now. We can change the body structure because you know body's blueprints. But even though the scientists recognize one fact, the fact how much we understand the brain function. What they said? 30%? No, even 12%. If the scientists recognize we understand only 12% of brain function, even we already decode the genetic code, because remember, that's a physical. But it's function. There's function, how you interpret. How scientists interpret, we call spirit. One way they accept is the existence of a spirit. The other way, they denied it. It's very funny. That's because it's unknown. Because we have not break through that barrier yet. Enter called spiritual science. All the spiritual science all come in the mystery. It's all origin from religion's belief in the past. Can science interpret that we call spirit? So this mind, so far, we don't know. How much we know, we don't know. That's why the Tao Te Ching, I don't know how many read Tao Te Ching. What's the first chapter, the first sentence? They say, the Tao, when you talk about it, it's not Tao anymore. Because once you talk about it, remember Tao is a nature. It's all the nature existing. When you talk about it, use human mind to interpret the Tao. How can this mind interpret the Tao, the great nature? We understand even our brain function only 12%. How can you understand the great nature? No, there are many things we cannot interpret, we cannot understand yet. Because that's the reason they say, Tao, 可道, 非常道. That means those Tao you can talk about is no more Tao. So think about it. Like what you think? This brain, once you're born, your mind is still connected with nature. Then once you're born, then you start understanding the environment. You've been educated, or what we call brainwashed. You've been brainwashed, this is called white, this is called black. The nature doesn't define that. Nature doesn't tell you this is white, this is black. It's a human, we define that. We start brainwash people what's called sadness, what's called happiness, what's a love, what's a hate, what's a dignity, what's a glory. How many people die in the glory? How many people die because of dignity? Because we created. We create the entire human matrix. Then we struggle inside emotionally, and slowly we separate from the Tao, from the nature. In this case, how can we use this metric mind to judge nature? You can't. That's why the Tao Te Ching, first chapter, first sentence, they say, Tao. When you talk about, it's not more Tao, it's not Tao. Those can be named, it's not real name. Because they don't give you a name. It's we define the name. See, that's become human society. Because we are away from the Tao. So because the reason this mind is a mystery, we still don't know yet. Okay. So, but this mind is so powerful because this mind is the biggest power because it controls entire body's energy. So this become exercise and become mind. From here, now you can see, I want to define what is the Nei Dan, what's the White Dan. If you look at Chinese Qigong, they define it's called Nei Dan. The other one called White Dan. Nei Dan is called internal elixir. White Dan called external elixir. You know what the elixir mean? Elixir is a Western terminology. In the Europe, in the 16th, 17th century, I guess, at that time the chemists, they tried to purify some chemical can extend your life. They call elixir. The Chinese, the same thing. The Taoists for 2,000 years, they are searching for the herb that can extend your life. They call elixir. They call Dan. But later they realized this elixir exists in the body. Eventually, that's what we call Qi. So that's why I call Dan. So internal elixir, external elixir, how do we define that? Okay, in this case, you have to recognize the point here. Remember, this brain and this brain connected by spinal cord. When this is a central nervous system, remember, in the West society, you call this what? Called central nerve system. But in Chinese Qigong, they call central Qi system. This is two systems. This system connected by two polarities. It's a dipole. It's two polarities. Then they communicate with each other through the spinal cord. Chinese say through Chongmai, as we explained earlier. So that means it's a central energy. If those people, you can develop the energy so strong in this central energy, then from this central energy spread outwards. That means I build up the strong energy from here and spread outwards to the arm, to the leg, to the surface skin. This one we call internal elixir. But for the exercise, through the arms you exercise, you build potential difference. That's the Qi nourishing inwards from outside in. This is inside out, this one, outside in, this is called external elixir. So you can see, physical exercise, usually external elixir. Still meditation, usually internal elixir. But of course, it's not as simple as that. Because Chinese meditation is very different from the Western meditation. Just keep mind calm and peaceful. That one to Chinese only scholar Qigong. You talk about deeper aspect of Qigong. This mind heavily involved to produce the Qi and to direct it, to nourish the physical body, to enlighten your brain. Okay. Then, now you can see the Qigong talk about exercise, Qigong talk about mind. What's the number 3? You can think of. All right, I always say, okay, Qi, because Qi is constructed by air and by the rice. Okay, so it's a food and plus air, oxygen. This one I want to add it plus herbs. That's why because the Chinese discover there are many herbs. This herb can produce more qi than others. Remember, what you eat, what you are. Remember, the glucose changes the qi, but how about some other material that can change, can convert into qi more efficient and more quantity than others? For example, ginseng. In Chinese, they discovered there are many herbs. They can produce more qi than others. But those kind of qi, you have to take in the right time. You take a wrong time, it can make the body too young to energize. For example, red ginseng. Red ginseng, you cannot take in summertime. It makes your body too hot, too young, especially those people with high blood pressure. You say, okay, I want to take ginseng, it can cause problem. See? So you have to see. So that's me become very important, big fear of a Chinese herb. How many herbs Chinese discover after about 3,000-4,000 of history? Compare with the Indians. They have a herb. You count it probably 100. Chinese, the herb listen, you can see there are thousands of them. So that's why the reason today you can see all those herbs is affect the body's properties, affect the body's qi circulation. Okay, this one I want to add another one. I put the red color because this is bad. Material pollution. A lot of energy, material pollution today exists in affect our body as well, but this is bad. Okay, now 4. What you can think of number 4? Okay, give you this hint. I always think, yeah, when you watch this DVD or this lesson, listen. It's not say okay, you just listen. Everything before I said it, I want you to start thinking, ponder what I'm going to say. Let's see, you're going to match me. Of course, if you can go beyond me, I'm happy because that's me. You got understanding already. What before you can think of? I give you a hint. You have to sleep in the night. You have to wake up in the morning. When there's full moon, you're more energized. When the low clouds, you're more energized. Now you can think of now. You say, oh, nature. Yeah, that's it. See? Nature. Does the nature's energy constantly influence us all the time? Remember the black spot on the sun? It black out the whole New York City. Go back to 20 years ago, 30 years ago. That's the nature energy. Yeah. So look at that. Low clouds, you're more emotional because energy you trap. Because with the low clouds, our body's energy trapped into electric field. In the full moon, the same thing. Because you have the same thing, you talk about werewolf. Chinese, they talk about the same thing. Because of full moon, that's why you adopt the qi, you try to pick up qi from the moons. So this nature, of course, the biggest one you can see is the sun. Because so powerful. The second thing is moon. The third thing is the earth. I mean, all the energy fall upon us from the skies. Includes the moons, includes the sun, includes cosmic energy from other planets, whatever. So this is called heaven. Then the second one called Di is the earth. That's the earth. The third powerful is humans. See, human includes ourselves inside because we want to compare with earth and heaven because we think we are important. One way we are, the other way we are not. We still kill each other. Okay. So, because of this reason, there are so many energy, any kind of existing nature energy around us, influence our body energy. Today, I'm sorry, I have to add another inside because this one was not existing 70 years ago, but now it's existing. I call energy pollution. Energy pollution. Now you see, as I explained earlier, now all kind of waves pass through our body, influence our body's function. Okay, you want to read more about this? There's a book written by the same author, Dr. Baker. You're interested about that? Read about this. They're called cross current. Inside, it specifies clearly we are living in the dangerous environment. There's invisible killer all the time penetrate our bodies. I believe a lot of you have a microwave oven. Next time you turn it on, keep far away. If you don't keep far away, I want you to experiment. I do this experiment all the time. I see that. When I do that, I don't know, somehow to me, I don't know to you, to me, this side energy trap immediately. When they turn on this side, on this side, my energy start go to this way only, not this side. I don't know what the frequency there affect my bodies. Yeah. So if as long as keep away, 2-3 meters away, it's weakening. It's fine. Again, I don't know how many use a microwave oven heavily because according to a lot of reports today, microwave oven, they kill the enzyme inside. So kill the nutrition. Number 5, okay, you can think of. Give you a hint again. When we turn to 16, we're more energized. Yeah. When the full moon, you're more energized. But it's not the nature. This is related to another things Chinese call original essence. What's this original essence? All right, let's try to see that. Chinese say original essence resides in the kidneys. Okay, now first thing, let's try to see how Chinese define kidneys. Yeah, because to the Western, kidney, that's mean here, that's 2 kidneys. But Chinese call this one called internal kidneys. The way the external kidneys, actually your testicles and your ovaries. This one is called external kidneys. Okay, now original essence reside in the kidneys. Eventually, what they talk about? They talk about the hormones because they talk about glands. So let's talk about glands, original essence. Okay, now in this case, what the hormone do to you? What this one do to you? The body has 7 glands produce hormones. What hormone to do to you? Remember, 1990s, scientists announced through the hormones therapists, human being can live 120 to 150 years old easily. Now, the FDA already legalized melatonin, you already know. DHEA, you already know. You can buy in the CVS, the drugstore. But now, FDA also legalized for injection of human growth hormones. Because from the 1990 until now, already 14 years, all they prove is positive. Some negative, that's because some people abuse it. That means they believe. Of course, long-term side effect, nobody knows. Because usually the science development, it takes 50 years, 100 years, then you know. Questions. If you are 90 already, can you wait for another 100 years? That's why you have to step in and try that, because that's the last possibility. But so far, a lot of good results coming on. That's why the FDA, they legalize it. He said, to me, it's amazing. In the Chinese ancient document, they say, original essence is in the body, cannot be obtained from outside. Today, every time I go to CVS to buy melatonin, I laugh. By DHEA, I laugh. Because I can pay only $6, I can buy a whole bottle of hormones. But Chinese ancient time say you cannot get it from outside. Today you can get it. Of course, don't abuse it. If those people you want to understand more about the hormone therapies for longevities, the first book I encourage you to read called Grow Young with HGH. HGH, it represents human growth hormones. Okay, think about that. All right, now let's try to see why hormone can extend your life. Let's try to see what's the function of hormones. What's hormone do to you? Why do we need hormones? Okay, now you can see hormones regulate the body's metabolism. Okay, I put the other words. Hormone expedites body's biochemical reactions. The other words, hormones is catalyst. I wonder in high school you did an experiment. You have a compound, you have chemical A plus chemical B, put them together, and after chemical reaction becomes C and D. Without catalyst, it takes many days. Now you put the catalyst inside, it takes a few minutes, the reaction completed. In the body, hormone is a catalyst. It's amazing. When this hormone level is high, the body metabolism smoothly happening. That's your body maintain young. But unfortunately, we get older and older, this hormone production level going down. So one of the ancient Chinese way to maintain, to extend the body's longevity, you talk about original essence. That's what I talk about. Massage ovary, massage testicles, and those kidneys, and through the concentration in the center from embryonic breeding to enhance the production of a growth hormone in pituitary gland, and also DHEA, and now in the melatonin in pineal glands. So that's very important for you to understand this concept. So that's become very important longevity therapies today. So those people interested, please read about it. So that means when the original essence is higher, the qi circulation, qi production quantity increased. So this one become a big subject of a Qigong. Okay, there one more. Last one, I want you to think. It's too obvious. That's why people ignore. What's the most popular practice today? You think about it. Before they call alternative medicine, but now they changed to call complementary medicine. Yeah. There's a joke. The joke is, I think it's 1992. I was invited to have a speech about Qigong to the Western doctors, about 200 Western doctors. Inside they say Chinese medicine or Qigong or acupuncture is called alternative medicine. They call themselves traditional medicine. When I stand there, I was joking. I say, you guys very funny. You talk about Chinese medicine, it's alternative medicine. We have 4,000 years of history. It's called traditional medicine. Your medicine is only 200 years. You're supposed to call alternative medicine. Amazing. A lot of them agree. So that's a joke. But again, you should understand, that's why now they change called complementary medicine. It's actually, that's the right words, because the Western medical science and Chinese or Oriental medical science, they can cooperate each other, can complement with each other. Yeah. You call alternative medicine, that's almost like it downgrade its importance. So this one, now you can see, what's that? You can see acupuncture. And massage. And the process, many things develop. Artificial stimulation of the qi circulation. This one includes today, they plug in on the cavities outside electricity to influence internal energy circulation from outside. Again, this all because now more and more people discover more way, more technique to influence the body structure now. Okay? Now you look at the Qigong is so simple. Maybe you can find some other things, but most of the things probably here. Talk about exercise, talk about mind, talk about food and air, herb, talk about nature, and talk about original essence hormone, talk about acupuncture, massage those things. Once you understand, that's simple for you to understand. There's another way to look at what's the definition of Qigong. Okay, from this way, probably a lot of you can see different point of view, how I discover to interpret it. For example, think, when we inhale, we're taking oxygen. When we exhale, it's carbon dioxide. You already know this one from glucose, plus 6 oxygen, becomes 6 water, and plus 6 carbon dioxide. Remember, release 686 kilocalorie. Okay? But now you can see that's an oxygen divide, this is oxygen. This is the main thing, main production of carbon dioxide. But this is not the whole thing. You should remember. Remember, body cells constantly die. Every second there are millions of cells die, remember. Every 24 hours, there are 1 trillion cells dies. Question, when the cell died, it's a material in the body. Where did it go? That's why the cell, through the exhalation, the dead cell coming out as well. According to what I know, it's just then mixed with the saliva, eventually you swallow it. Okay, so from here you can see, eventually this kind of process also takes place because of cell replacement. So the whole concept of Qigong is, how do I replace the old cell with a new cell smoothly? That's become longevity. That become, how do I maintain my body's function healthily? That's become Qigong. So in order to do that, what are you concerned? Of course, you have concern is oxygen. You have the concern, how do I get the Qi exchange and then try to produce carbon dioxide smoothly? And how do I take it out through the right exhalations? Okay, and from here, I want you to take a look carefully. Okay, I'm not a good drawer, but at least you can see the point. Okay, these are bones, this is skin surface. Because remember, everything is a cell replacement. All right, now, roughly you can see, generally speaking, the artery is near the bones. And where's the vein? Vein is closer to the surface of skin, generally speaking. It doesn't mean this side don't have vein, this side don't have artery. But generally speaking, toward this side is more artery, this side is more vein. Right? This comes from the heart. So this one have what? Oxygen. This one go back to the heart. So this one is carbon dioxide. From here you can see how the cell replace. The cell replace from what? Inside out. The question, how do I make this happen so the cell replacement can smoothly happen? Remember, every time I tense up, oxygen consumption increased. So that means the more tense I have, that means the more I deplete the oxygen before even reach the skin. But you need to exercise, you need to tense up muscle in order to develop the muscles. But at the same time, you have to learn how to relax the muscle, allow the qi to reach the skin. So that's a very important part of Chinese Qigong. That's why, how do you breathe all the way to the bone marrows? How do you breathe all the way to the surface of the skin? So that's because cell replacements. So that's how important the relaxation, the body position, your thinking, everything, because you cannot tense up. When you think, that's why you tense up emotionally. So that's one way to look at that, how the Qigong do. It try to improve or try to make the cell replacement smoothly happen. Inside this one, of course, the most important part is what? Is hormones, because it's biochemical reactions. Biochemical reaction, that's the entire body is under this kind of called metabolism. I want you to recognize another thing, because there's the end of this lesson. So there are a few points I want to point out. Okay, the first one, Chinese talk about mind and the qi and the body. From the Western point of view, you talk about mind and the body. Because today it's become a big subject, talk about mind and body. How the mind and body between connected, we call nerve system. So this is Western and Chinese. People say, oh, there are two things. No, that's the same thing. Because nerves is electric fiber. When the qi is abundant, nerves are more sensitive. When the qi is weakened, that means nerves not as sensitive. So what do we talk about sensitive? Or what all they talk about? We talk about what? Feeling. All these talk about feeling. The more qi I have, the more my nerve sensitive. That means feeling increase. So they talk about same thing. One is from energy point of view, the other from physical structure point of view. Okay, so remember this one. It's important. Chinese emphasize this one a lot. It's only Western society. They ignore this feeling. They focus on the nerves. That's all. Okay, that's one point I want to point out. Another point I want to point out, the body. Chinese talk about yin and yang. This one very often people confuse with kan and li. Kan is in the 8 trigrams. Kan is mean water. Li is mean fire. These two not the same thing. People can get confused. Yin yang is a result, is consequence. Kan and li is a method. Okay, for example, your heart beat faster, you are excited, your body is young. I start inhale deeply and then relax, then I add more water. So the inhale deeply, I cool the body down, then this is kan. Then the body become in. So remember this technique. Okay, I want you to think carefully because later we're going to discuss about in the second lesson or third lesson, talk about breathing. But I want you to think it now. Every time you're excited, you exhale longer than inhale. For example, you laugh. Watch people, they laugh. They say, ha, 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 ha. When people, they are sad. Watch they cry, they go, they inhale longer than exhale. So that's when everything you inhale longer than exhale, the energy go to the center. Every time you exhale longer than inhale, energy go out, away from center. So from here you can see the breathing become very important part of kan and li because it change the body status. So that's the reason the breathing in the Qigong consider is strategy. Make things happen. Okay. So this is a method. For example, if this cup of water is too hot, it's young. Then I add more cold water. This process called kan. Then now water become cooler. So don't get confused for that one. It's very easy for a lot of people to get confused. Kan and li, yin and yang, is not the same thing. They are related, but not the same thing. Next concept. Because all these concepts I have to explain now, so later we don't have to kill too much time for that. Chinese talk about 3 treasures. 3 treasures, the first one is called Jing, essence. The second one is the qi. The third one is Shen, spirit. Chinese call this called 3 treasures. 3 most precious things. Of course, the essence is hormones. The second one is qi. The third one is the spirit. So the Chinese talk about convert your original essence into qi. From the qi, it nourishes your spirit. When this thing happens, the body energy is strong. Okay, but now this is statement, I will redefine it later in the second lessons. Because this essence convert into qi is a little bit inaccurate now. Because the essence is original, is what? Hormones. Hormone does not convert. Hormones expedites the biochemical reaction, but itself does not convert. So because the reason, again, in ancient time, they didn't know that. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in the second lesson. So these are 3 treasures. It's very important. Chinese consider it's a very important part of the body. You know, if you learn how to take it preciously, then you'll live for a long time and be healthy. Finally, there's another concept. They call 5 qi towards its origin. 5 qi, what do you mean 5 qi? 5, that means 5 internal organs. That includes the heart, includes the lung, kidneys, liver, and spleen. To Chinese, these 5 internal organs is crucial. When these 5 internal organs healthy and strong, your body is strong and healthy. So 5 qi toward its origin called 五气曹元. Because this terminology also happened often in ancient documents. 5 qi towards origin. That's origin. Origin, that means what? That means the right levels. The adequate, proper levels of the qi. That means if you can regulate all these 5 qi to its healthy, normal states, you'll be healthy. Whenever the qi is abnormal in these 5 organs, the organ will be sickened. Okay. Finally, I want to invite all of you in this first lesson to feel what is qi. In order to do that, you have to build up the qi to the higher potential difference. To build this potential difference, that means you have to build qi in the higher levels. After that, allow the qi to circulate. Okay. One of the Tai Chi Chuan position is this position. We call 3 power position because they talk about heaven, human, and earth qi circulation. When you stand in this position, the arm is this way, like you're hugging a baby or hugging a tree. When you do that, the energy trap inside, because the arm open, the qi expand. When the arm go this way, energy start wrap. Because that's a human nature. That's why you hold it to yourself. So because the reason this position become not only just mentally, physically, it actually trap the qi into this column. So from there, you inhale through the Bai Hui in the crowns, go to Dantian, go to the leg. So that's why it's called 3 power qi circulations. Now in Tai Chi Chuan, they add another circle. From there, they lead the qi out to the arms and coming back, and combine with heaven, human, earth qi. So that's why they use the nature qi to nourish the body. But of course, that's why we explain more in the Tai Chi Qigong. But I'm going to use this position for you to think. In this kind of position, when I stand this way, that means if I stand left leg forward, which side of my back muscle is more tense? Right hand side. So that's why on purpose I build the potential difference on the back, because right hand side is more tense. Start build potential difference. Left side is more relaxed. Once you build the potential difference, the energy start spiral upwards through the spinal. Okay. Then not only that, arm here, because the tension to lift the arms. So these 2 areas is more tense. When it's more tense, that means the qi gets stagnant here and build higher potential there. Okay, we're going to ask you to do these forms, each side for 3 minutes without moving your arms. The leg you have to change after 3 minutes. Okay, I want you to practice that. After that, then following that, you need a partner. Try to feel the qi by yourself. When we talk about the 3 treasures, they talk about essence, qi, and the spirit. They talk about this one, it's called 3 flowers. Flower doesn't mean beautiful, it's make your body flourish or whatever, make your body shining, flowers. It's a 3 flowers reach the top. What it means, remember, we talk about essence, convert the essence to qi, from qi, it nourishes spirits, because spirits on the top. So that means when these 3 things you gather on the top, that means you can convert the essence, the origin essence into the qi abundantly, and this qi can also nourish the sun, so make a sun spirit go to higher level. That's called 3 flowers reach the top. Eventually, all they talk about is the spiritual cultivations. Okay, so remember, you stand one side for about 3 minutes to 5 minutes. In the Tai Chi Chuan, actually, people stand one leg like this for 1 hour and the other leg for an hour. But for this qi experience or qi feeding experience, you don't have to stand for so long. 3 minutes each side. After that, do not move your hands. Just move to the other side for 3 minutes. You can breathe as normal as you can, because so far you don't know what's breathing. So you cannot use your mind to lead the qi yet. But from this kind of position, you can see the muscles on the upper shoulders is more tense. When this is more tense, that means qi starts trapped on this area. So that means you build up a potential difference over here. So after you finish it, 3 minutes, I want you just stand 2 feet parallel again, And then relax. Once you relax your shoulder, your arms, then you can see the shoulder relax, the chi start release. Then you can feel a lot of tingling feelings. Remember, you put your hand like this one. Ignore the heat. The heat is not a static chi feeling or electric feeling. So instead of feeling the heat, you want to pay attention to the static feeling. If you go this way, it cannot feel too strong. You can turn this way. You find out this way is stronger because one yin, the other yang. This one repel each other. This one accept. Because the energy inside, yang side, they circle again. So this one repel, this one really accept each other. So from here, you can see this side. You can feel the chi easier. At the same time, you can notice the hair. If you have a hair on your hands, pay attention to the hair. Hair might move because static on the hairs. Okay? So when you try it, you can experience it. More only that, the 5 fingers, which finger is longest? Middle fingers. These fingers belong to pericardium. Later, in the second lesson, you can realize the pericardium is so important for your body. It's considered an organ in Chinese medicine. So this one is longest. That's because the qi continues to let it out. I know to American this is the best signal, but to Chinese this is very important, Qigong. Yeah. So because the reason this one is strong, so what you do, I want to ask you, after you build up a lot of qi, I want you to put your hand like this. You put like that, don't get too close. Relax, you go like that, it tense again. Get it down here, so more relaxed, and put like that. And you go like that, circle. You circle the hands. When you circle the hands, the fingers, you can, amazingly, you can feel this side have a circle with that, because you can feel this qi extend so far, very, very far. A lot of people say, how can it be? Remember, now scientists, they can measure it now. Remember, I introduced you about the energy medicine book. In that book, they are talking about today they can measure the heart magnetic fields the heart produced. You know how far the machine can test it now? 15 feet away. Doesn't mean my heart jump faster. The people 15 feet away, they can feel it. But they say it depends on the machine. The machine in the future can be developed. They realize this one can go unlimited distance. Depends how sensitivity is. Doesn't mean everybody's heartbeat can feel each other. The brain communicate each other. Because that's from the modern science measurements. So because the reason for this one, you can see it produces some electromagnetic field to influence the outside. That's when the Chinese healer, they can use this one to heal people. Okay, so you do this one, you circle it, and then you can feel the energy. Not only that, a lot of qi healers, remember, if this arm I have a problem, if for example, I have a pain in my elbow because qi stagnation, because injury, or I have qi stagnation here, that's one, yeah? You touch, because the joint is a negative, in the future we're going to explain more, and the muscle is more yang, then the joint is more yin. So because this is yang, when you emit the energy here, so when you go here, you find out you connect each other, you circle. You'll be amazed when this hand circle here, you can feel the qi here correspond with this circling up and down, because in and out. You find this energy. So through here, I want you inhale, go to the elbow, and exhale going out. You find out a lot of energy released. You have to feel that. Remember, qi cannot be seen, but can be felt. So because the reason you have to feel, the more you feel it, the more you understand it. Because there's another body in you. You never pay attention to it. Okay. After you build up this qi, another way you can use a partner to practice. If with a partner practice, it'll be easier because for you it can be tricked by your mind. See, for example, when I do this one, your mind can trick it. Say, okay, it's a feeling, because my mind thinking, because my mind need the qi. So that's why sometimes you need a partner. When you need a partner, this is a very simple exercise. Okay, now I use the jaw for this practice. You can see. Once after you both sides practice this one, then what you can do, as one person, the palm face each other. Don't tense up like this one. Wrist tense up is not good because in the trap here. Relax as much as you can. The size here almost like a basketball. Don't get too close. You can feel it about that much. So remember, because the palm emitting the qi from here, so a lot of energy field start established here. You should be able to feel it. Very simple. You put your hands on the top. Okay. Slowly come down. it slowly comes down. When you come to around this edge area, actually you can feel static feeling here already. You'll be amazed so far you can feel it. Slowly come down here, you can see my entire hands in that electric fields. Remember, it's not only I can feel it, he should be able to feel as well because I'm interrupting his energy correspondence. When go here and disappear again this size. So now you go here, you can see, you can move your hands around that. You can pray your hands, the feeling sensitivity. By this way, it's all different feeling. So it's very important for you. The more you feel it, the more you understand it. So there's one way. So of course, you exchange side to practice. Both people can practice. Another way you can practice, as a partner stand this way. Remember, the hands, if you circle this way, it's called releasing. If you go this way, it's called nourishing. Okay. Normally, you don't want to nourish it because normally you nourish it cause heartbeat faster. Because for a healthy person, you don't need that. But when people, they try to recover from the sickness, long sickness, then they need nourishing, then go the other side. Usually, a healthy person, you want to regulate because the body have a lot of energy. Okay, so because this reason, normally you go this way. So when you go this way, slowly you build up connection. When I do this way, then the other person should be able to feel a tinkling feeling from the finger without touching. Then from there, you inhale and then exhale. And remember, you have to do both sides. If you don't do both sides, then pretty soon you find you lose balance because one side releasing. Some people may experience it more. From my past experience, some people, after the treatment, they feel dizzy. They right away, they want to sit down because they feel dizzy. That's because a lot of energy drained out. When these things happen, just relax and sit down for a few minutes. It'll be okay, recover. Because remember, a lot of the energy you're releasing, but for you to experience it. Don't do too much, do a couple of times, it's fine. But again, it exchange. Okay. So remember, this kind of feeling is very important for you. The more you feel it, the more you understand. Eventually, without that, I just close to him, I can feel my body in this energy field. How far you can feel it, that depends how much you practice. A lot of time, I can stand here, I can stand here. Some people I can feel so strong, even they're far away. Some people I have to get so close. Okay, the most important thing when you do this kind of practice, after you practice a while, remember, eyes closed. Because this one can be triggered by your thinking, your own thinking. So because reason, you put the hand like that, now you can put your hands here and through thinking. Again, he can move his hand up and move his hand down. So what you do is you have to search for where is the point. Because you close your eyes, you don't know where his hand up and down. So in this case, you have to stop where the strongest place. In this case, you know it's not from your mind, it's come from your feeling. The second thing you can practice one hand like that. Okay, one hand like that, you can feel it. From here, this person, he can move the hand back and you can move forward. So what you do, you close your eyes and see you can follow this one by this feeling. All this exercise in the future, we're going to talk about it because it's very important for the Qi massage. In Chinese, it's called external Qi healing. So this one is very important. You have to build up that kind of sensitivity because you are communicating. It's not by looking, it's by feeling of the Qi. So, all right. So this one is only introduce you some of this trick so you can practice to have a feeling of the Qi by yourself. Okay, this concludes the first lesson of about Qi and Qigong. And the second lesson, we're going to talk about the body Qi network. So they will help you understand the body's Qi structure. Then your mind become much clearer for that. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joe.